All right. Recording in progress. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Boston Urban Forest Friends, or BUF, as we affectionately call it. I am Jarrell Ferguson. I'm your host this morning. For those of you who are returning and anyone who is joining us for the first time, welcome, 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 welcome. We will jump right in for the sake of time into community updates. But first, we will be recording, so keep your cameras on if you don't mind. Please have your Zooms on mute unless you're speaking, just to keep down background noise, and limit your questions to as little bit of time as possible, just so we can get everybody in. All right, and we'll pull up the agenda. All right, so happy Black History Month. We have community updates. We should have some updates from Crane Ledge Woods, and the Arlington Tree Committee will be joining us today. Louise Johnson will have a brief discussion on how the Parks Department may work with volunteer corps to water street trees. We'll have a Speak for the Trees update from our education coordinator and myself. And yeah, so let's get started with our community updates. Who would like to go first? Please raise your hands. All right, Ann, I saw your physical hand go up. Well, just please raise your hand in the Zoom function. Ann? Oh, where'd you go? Oh, is that you, Ann? I'm sorry. Nope. The screens are bouncing around. Okay, we're gonna start with Sarah. It's bouncing around all over the place. I'm sorry. Can you hear us?
Everyone, it feels like this group meets once a week or something, since my updates are haven't had much change lately. On the Shattuck Hospital in at the edge of Franklin Park, there's still no transparency in terms of what's going on, but one interesting development, the one response this DCAM received to the proposal was from a team led by Boston Medical Center, and the state's new Secretary of Health and Human Services was, until about a week ago, the head of Boston Medical Center. So that was interesting. Staying tuned. Thanks.
Okay. Lisa, you're next.
Hi, everyone. How are you today?
We're good. How are you?
Very good. Yes, I'm just looking for my notes right now. Yes, so we do have a major update from the Crane Ledge Woods Coalition, which I think many of you have seen. There was a kind of a step forward, a significant step forward in the campaign to save the, at least 14 acres of the 24-acre woods, which we are, we're focused on preserving all 24 acres. The Boston Planning and Development Agency, they did disapprove the Lincoln Properties large development project as designed. It's very, very rare for the BPDA to issue an official disapproval. So that's it's significant. Yay. They did list conditions, and if the developer is willing to make some significant modifications that would be in compliance, then there is still a possibility that they could get approved. Let's see. I do see that Frank is here, and Frank, feel free to add anything to this. You know, obviously we have work to do, and we, you know, our coalition is, we're analyzing the determination and looking at what our next steps forward are. The developer, as many of you know, in the Impact Advisory Group meeting for this project, did actually threaten to sue the city if they didn't get approved. Their claim is that it is an as-of-right project because they're not, they don't need to ask for a variance for any of for the project as designed. However, our another important way to look at it is that the project will or would have so much negative impact that nothing about the project would provide enough benefit to mitigate that very grave harm that it would have to the community. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free.
All right, thank you, Lisa. We'll save questions for probably a little bit later. Doesn't seem like anyone has any right now.
Sure.
Unless I'm mistaken. All right.
Well, I had a
Thank you.
quick question, actually, and
Okay.
great job to the coalition and your really hard work, Lisa. What are things that people on the call can do to continue supporting these efforts? Or is it just a waiting game at this point?
Well, again, we're the coalition steering committee. We're analyzing that very question. You know, we're analyzing their documents. We're looking at the legalities of Article 80. And so we will certainly send out another e-blast notification when we have some suggested next steps. But right now, I really not sure what to do, but please stay tuned. Don't think that it's, you know, 100% victory. And we will need, for sure, this woods, it's wildlife, the community will need more widespread support and action on this. We'll just let you know.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, Celeste, you're up next.
Thank you. I wanted to update everyone on the 305 Brookline Ave project, Longwood Place, which is 5 buildings, one very tall, that would cast shadows on the Emerald Necklace in the morning and in the evening on the Fenway side, in the morning on the Riverway side. The BPDA board approved granting them a PDA, Plan Development Area zoning change, which would exempt them from the BPDA regulations that went into effect in 2003, I think, that limited the height of buildings in the Longwood medical area. So there will be a community meeting February 27th at the Fenway Community Center at the corner, right on Boylston Street. And it will be an informational meeting to find out to explain what happened and to talk about what can be done. The community is very concerned about this, and no one is opposing the development. They just think there could be some changes in the height to keep the parks, the integrity of the parks going forward. So the meeting will be February 27th at 6 p.m. in person. And there will be a flyer that will be distributed later, either today or early next week. So mark your calendars if you're interested and come and show up. Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste. Appreciate that. Who is next? I see Alana's hand raised up. Hi, Alana. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you. I just wanted to update the group. So back in January, we filed underneath the 10 residents group a petition, and some of the people who signed the petition are on here. So thank you. We filed a MEPA fail-safe petition for the Morton Street project, which is the 4 acres that I've been telling the group about the developer wants to remove to install the artificial turf field. So we filed the fail-safe petition. The petition has been published in the Environmental Monitor, and it's open for public comment until December 28th. I'll put the information in the chat. I'm hoping people can go on and comment and just, push back on this project, this destruction that they, are attempting to cause. I want to say a huge shout out to Crane Ledge Woods Coalition. Like, you guys are really, setting this groundwork. And so hopefully, it can follow suit with all these other sites having advancements as well with protecting the green spaces. So I'll put the information in the chat. If people could comment, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Alana. Appreciate that. Erica Holm, you're up next. Good morning, Erica.
Hey, good morning, Jarrell. Thank you. I'll do a really quick one just about the Franklin Park Action Plan, which is open for public comment. The comment period's been extended to March 3rd. Franklin Park's 527 acres. It's our biggest park. There's a lot of opportunity for tree planting, ecological management, removal of invasives, and promotion of the next generation of trees to come up in both the woodlands and the park settings and the street settings that exist in Franklin Park. So I'll put that in the chat. And if you have been to Franklin Park, it's a real gem in our city. So I'll put that in there, and please make comments about what you think about the action plan. Thanks.
Thank you, Erica. Much appreciated. Jordan. Good morning, Jordan. How are you? Can't hear you. No, can't hear you. Am I the only one? Can anyone hear Jordan? Okay. We can't.
No,
No. Okay.
we'll get back to you, Jordan.
Yeah, you. Mhm.
Anne, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead, Ann.
Hey, thanks. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Ann McHugh. I live in Jamaica Plain. I'm a member of the statewide tree advocacy group called Trees as a Public Good, which is actually kind of like a working group of Revolution, Massachusetts. And I just wanted to note that the Trees as a Public Good network has sent out an action alert recently asking folks to contact your legislators to co-sponsor a new bill that has just been filed to support a municipal reforestation program. So I think most people know that, the 2-year legislative session in the state just began again, I think, January 2nd or 3rd, and the 31st was the deadline for filing bills. And there are loads of bills about climate and trees and etc. So this is one of many, but it asks. But Senator Cream from Newton is the lead sponsor, and the bill is SD 1214, and I'm going to drop in the chat a link to the action alert that ORMA has sent out asking folks to to contact your legislators, because, you know, the more co-sponsors a bill has, the more steam it gets at the beginning of the process. So that's the request at this point. And I also just want to note that the action alert also asks, it sounds unrelated, but it is kind of related because of funding mechanisms, that the to also ask your legislator to contact Governor Healy's office to move forward with the logging moratorium that she promised in her campaign. And just to say, the timber industry is really pressing back against doing this moratorium. And I've been interested to learn a lot about this. I don't know much about state forests and land management, but the connection in terms of this bill is that the funding saved through Department of Conservation and Recreation by not supporting logging on state lands for commercial interests would help to fund the municipal reforestation bill. So, and if you'd like more info about the network in general, you can message me in the chat and I'll give you more info. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ann. Appreciate that. Frank O'Brien, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning, everybody.
Oh,
Couple
you're
of quick comments and then a question. So in terms of the comments, no, Lisa gave a great summary of Crane Ledge Woods, and I think one of the next steps is a community meeting hosted by the coalition, just to kind of delve deeply into the issues around sort of what's enforceable in terms of tree protection particularly, as well as other items. And that also does relate to what Celeste mentioned in terms of the shadow issues. And the fail-safe review petition is very important, because right now the thresholds for review, particularly in environmental justice communities, are just too high. The thresholds are too high. So a lot of things kind of fall beneath the trigger point for review. And the petition, the fail-safe petition, totally gets to that. My question has to do with the City of Boston tree ordinance. Is there any update and action plan on that particular lane of advocacy? Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Jarrell, do you want to answer? Well, I was going to say Jarrell or
Uh,
Lana, or I could answer that question, or others.
I would defer to Alana or even yourself.
Okay, well, I can try to answer as best. We do have a working group. So as far as the tree ordinance, we do have a working group. A lot of the members are on this call right now. We meet every other week on Tuesday to discuss the current tree ordinance as it is. And what we're doing now is trying to walk through and find ways that we want to see this ordinance strengthened. So we're trying to look at the different perspectives within the group. We have community members that range the gamut. So it's really a diverse group. And we've just made that our mission to make sure that we're going to see this through and really just work on this continuously, and then hopefully meet with our elected officials to bring something forward to be introduced that we feel will offer the protections that we're hopefully all looking for. So I don't know if that answers the question.
And we were joined this week by Larry Weissman from American Forest, who has a lot of experience in developing ordinances. And he was very helpful in thinking about what ordinance is good, it should be used for, what it shouldn't be used for, and the strengths and weaknesses in an ordinance. I think there's a if I could be frank for a minute, and Alana and Jarrell and others who are on the call, you can sort of disagree if I'm saying anything that's not accurate. But there's, I think, a tension right now in thinking about what an ordinance can do and how it should be crafted, whether it should focus on individual trees at the residential level, or whether it should focus on larger parcels of land and the preservation of land like Borton Street or Crane Ledge Woods. And the question is essentially, how broad should the ordinance be? And also, is an ordinance the best tool for preserving urban forested land on the acres type of scale? So I think we still need to work it out. I think we're all in agreement that both are important, but we just don't, but we have to figure out, do we do those things together in an ordinance, or do they go on separate tracks?
That's exactly right. Yep. And so we're definitely going to be leaning on the expertise of Larry Wiseman. He brought a lot of great knowledge and information to our meeting last week. He's going to do some research in between now and when we meet next time. And the conversations will continue. So hopefully we'll end up with something that we're all satisfied with. But there's a lot of work to be done still, like David said. But we'll get it done.
I was just gonna ask, is that working group open to folks joining or, trying to keep I see you in the chat. Thanks, David.
Hey. Thank you all very, very much for that. I'm taking all the notes that I can. All right, any other updates? We will move on into the agenda if there are none. All right, actually, you know what? Jordan had a question in the chat. So I think we should check that. We should look at his question. Susan, 1 second. I saw you. Just 1 second. I think you will be next. Jordan's question in the chat.
I'm not sure it was a question. I think it was a comment that I've never met Jordan before, so I'm glad he could join. That he works for the trustees.
Yeah, Jordan worked with Alex at the
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you want to say the city has the RFP, so some of you might have heard of the RFP for urban tree canopy planting on private land. And he just wanted to inform the group that the trustees has applied, and whether selected or not, that they're happy to work with others to grow the canopy. So I believe that the city in the next week or two will be announcing, the hope is in the next week or two, who's been granted that grant.
All right. Thank you, David. I had to scroll all the way up in the chat.
I know.
All right. Let's see here. Where are we? Susan Stamps from the Arlington Tree. Where are you there?
Yeah, here I am.
Okay. Hi, Susan.
Hi. It's been a while since I've gotten here. Thanks, everybody. You can hear me okay?
Yep. Thank you for coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it hasn't been for want of wanting to. But anyway, the Arlington Tree Committee we've been very successful in the last several years. We have a tree ordinance that we passed a few years back. We've amended it several times. We've gotten a lot of trees planted, et cetera, et cetera. All that stuff is going well. Our challenge now is the big push to build more housing in town. I'm sure everybody's familiar with the MBTA communities law, which requires all of the over like 161 communities in the Metro Boston area and really across the state that have any either direct access or adjacent access to trains and buses. And so Arlington is a community. It's right on the other side of Cambridge. We're completely built out. We're 5.5 square miles with 47,000 population. We don't have any extra land at all. We don't have any undeveloped land except for one parcel that is in court right now because it's a floodplain. But so the challenge is to we have to zone for 2,046 multifamily units in town. Doesn't mean we're going to have to build them. It means we have to zone for them so that a developer can come in and build if they want to. And I'm all in, the members of the tree committee are all in favor of that, of more housing. Our challenge is to make sure that there are requirements put in place to plant trees, to do bioswales, to to make sure we're not creating heat islands. We're actually helping with heat islands. And it's an environmental equity issue, but it's also, you know, the health of the whole community issue. We have just started in the last month a considerable amount of outreach to the sort of the housing advocates in Arlington, who so far, by and large, have been very focused on building the housing, and they feel like the environmental, ecological components of new dense housing have to be considered. They don't see that as very important, and our planning department doesn't seem to either, unfortunately. So we're in a place where we feel like, you know, we need to reach out. We need to build a coalition of housing and trees people. You know, we need to find a way to talk to each other, and things are moving along very quickly. And so I wanted to ask the group if you know, I'll put my address in the chat, or you can just go to arlingtontrees.org and you can find a way to communicate with us. If anybody else here is in the middle of those discussions around multifamily housing, what are the challenges? What are your techniques you're using to bridge the gap and to bring everybody together? Because it's all happening very fast. Lexington has a package of proposals. It's going to be voted on by their town meeting this spring. Arlington is going to be in the fall. And so anyway, and we seem to be the only ones in town who are really concerned about doing this in an ecologically friendly way. So any advice, tips, any networking people want to do, would love to talk to you. So thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Appreciate that very much. Anyone who's working in that right now, who's working with issues around multifamily housing?
And Alana and others who were on the call earlier this week, I wonder if Larry has ideas.
Yeah, is this guy, is he a consultant to Boston, or is it just being?
He did consult Boston on the urban forest plan, but he works, I believe, full-time for American Forests. He's done a lot of amazing, he shared with us his career, and he's worked at the White House. He's consulted on a lot of different local, national policies regarding forestry.
Is he local? No.
No, he's not, but he understands. I think he's not, but he's smart. He knows a lot of different things.
I wrote his name down. We'll definitely.
I'll put you in touch with him too.
Thank you, Dave. Debbie. Yeah.
He seems to have a soft spot for Boston.
We're very dense up here on the you know, in the Northeast corridor. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Susan. Appreciate that. All right. So we are going to move on in the agenda to Louise Johnson, who has something she would love to discuss with us. Good morning, Louise. Hello.
Hi, good morning. Thank you. I'm a JP person, JP resident, and I was sort of directed to the group. I've been to 1 or 2 meetings before, I believe, but I was told that maybe this would be a place where I could get a little bit of advice. I've been in the past, since last summer with the drought, noticing the tree plantings, street tree plantings for Boston in particular, and how they were all dying, and sort of looking into it a bit. And I know people are various levels of familiarity, but there's a lot of trees being planted, but they're not being maintained and specifically watered for that first sort of critical 2-year period. And so they're dying. And what I've been told is it's around a 40% failure rate for the trees that are planted. And this is really sort of the point of contact for, sort of your average citizen, and how their city services are working on this, in the sort of urban canopy level, where, they see trees planted and then they see them die. And so it's not a good PR. I don't think it's a good PR model. And so I've been just on my own. I have a couple rain barrels, I have a truck. I've been going out and sort of randomly watering them. But it's, you know, I'm sort of starting to try and think, I'd like to try and make it into something, I'd like to be a part of a larger group. And I'd like to try and see if there is an interest in creating some sort of a volunteer group that not only went out and watered and sort of did it a little less randomly, but also there is a component, all the trees have a little sign on them, please help me, you know, in front of the houses or apartment buildings they're planted. And, but I don't think there's any real outreach, you know, direct contact to people going
So
up.
Louise, you came to the right place because,
Okay.
and I'll let Josh here talk about the work that he's done with some teens. We have been trying to stand up a program like this for a couple of years now.
Oh, wow.
And have been told from the city that while in principle they want to see something like this succeed, they don't have the bandwidth currently to
Right.
to pull it together, that we should wait till a director of urban forestry is hired, and that should be happening in the next couple of weeks, according to what we hear. But
wow.
meanwhile, we have created, but are sort of have put on hold for about 2 years now, our Adopt a Tree program. And I just put the link in there. An amazing group of students from Northeastern have developed an interactive map where you can log your hours, or create an account, adopt a tree, and log your activities. The data we have, we want to sync it with the city, and we want to have an outreach campaign where we can actually track this stuff and train people on how to do it. But we're sort of waiting a little bit because we want to do it right. We've also created flyers that are more detailed than the ones you see from the city. And then, you know, Josh can talk to you about how we sort of piloted it this summer.
Oh, I'd love to be a part of that group. That would be great. Yeah, because what I felt is a lot of people, I've talked to people individually as I go and water the tree if they're around. People are happy to, oh yeah, I'll take a few gallons out and water the tree in front of my house, but they don't even, people don't notice it or realize it or know about it. And I think, and then, you know, if I had a flyer, I looked a little more official. I think, you know, it could really I think it could have a lot of success. And I would love to volunteer to help with that. So what's the best way to get a hold of this group?
Yeah. So I'm Josh. I'm the education coordinator to Speak for the Trees. So I mean, on the volunteer half, I love this idea. I think this is great, and I'll help out in any way I can. We've done a little bit of volunteer work on the tree watering side. I think we had 2 groups of college students that came and did volunteering with us last year. But last summer, I was the program coordinator for our Teen Urban Tree Corps. And we had them 3 days a week. They would go out and water street trees in Dorchester. And we would do that they would go out in 3 different groups, and each group had a hydrant meter and 3 5-gallon jugs. And they would get water from the fire hydrants around Dorchester. And each of those groups each day would water like between 20 and 30 trees. Between like 3.5 to 5 hours, walking these routes that in total were about 2.5 miles, and watered the trees that way. And it was it was really successful. We were watering about, you know, just over 200 trees each week. And so, yeah. And like I said, we've been looking to have a lot more volunteers join us to do that. I think, you know, one of the things that we noticed too, like while we're out in the public doing that, a lot of people would approach us and ask, you know, just curious, like, what are you doing? Who are you with? And people really did appreciate the work that we were doing. So I think there is an audience for it, for sure, for volunteers, for people to get involved all across Boston. It's just taking the steps to really set up that volunteer program and do the recruitment, getting the word out, you know. So
and then ensuring that people do it regularly, right? I
Right.
mean, it's like training people to do it. one of the other things we noticed is we did mulching of tree pits, but we didn't do that till like August, and we were like, oh, we should have done this in like March or April. So we're gonna try to do more community tree mulching in preparation for a hot summer, because the mulch really not only holds in the moisture, but also, helps absorb moisture. So you're coming at the right time, because I hope that the city sees this, the new director of urban forestry sees this as a priority. The tool, I dropped the link in for the Adopt a Tree page on our website, and the tool that these Northeastern kids came up with for free is amazing. I mean, it's like they took the New York City Adopt a Tree model and they made it for Boston. I'm sure New York City Parks and Rec paid it very handsomely for their their model. So what we have now is a really, really robust system in place. We just need to like coordinate it. And you're reminding me, Louise, that I think the time is right to start really connecting the dots a little more.
Oh, excellent. So, I'll go on and do it. I have like 3 or 4 trees in my neighborhood. I'll just adopt them. So I'll be on.
Well, they
that.
might not be on the map. That's the issue. It's just an incomplete map of street trees.
Okay.
So what we need is we really need the city to like share with us data as it comes in, because we don't want stale data in there. The data is like 3 or 4 years old, and it's only data that we collected from our inventory. It's not the city's data. So those really important details need to be worked out, but sort of like the vessel is there. We just need to fill it.
Okay. And how should I share my email on the chat line, and you'll contact me? How should I be in contact with the volunteer group? I have a truck that I'd love to help, I can fill it up with jugs of water.
Victoria, you still here, Victoria? We need a volunteer coordinator on staff, and Victoria sort of picked up that task on staff.
Oh, great.
But I think Louise, drop your email and we can continue this.
Will do. Thank you so much. That's perfect. Great.
Thank you, Louise. Celeste, you had your hand up for a while, and Susan, you're next. Celeste?
I just had a quick comment. Didn't Tree Eastie have a successful program of getting youth to go around East Boston and water a few years ago? I don't know if it's continued or not.
That was NOAA that had that program, the Neighborhood of Affordable Housing.
Okay.
And I don't know what's happened to it. That was through their Eco Youth Group. And then Tree Eastie has since done something similar, I believe, in collaboration with NOAA and also in collaboration with Eastie Farms.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're tracking that data, and I don't know. I mean, I know it's been done, and I wish someone from Tree Eastie were here. I don't know how robust it is. They've actually used our platform as well. So
okay.
There's been some cross-pollination across this, but it's really like bringing it all together that needs to happen if we're going to make it sustainable.
Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste. Susan?
Planet Geo. Anybody know that organization? PLANET Geo. They do LiDAR surveys for tree canopy. You can hire them to do it for you. Arlington's looking into it. We did our own tree inventory a few years ago, people walking on the street. We used, I think it was iTree, and we have a tree map that's available on our town website, and it's great. It doesn't, however, have trees on private property, which, now we really need to be thinking about all the trees in town or in cities or whatever, or neighborhoods. So we are, Planet Geo offers a free hour consult, and we're just trying to get organized as far as what we might like them to do and when we're going to talk to them. But as far as I know, that is the way to do it. I've done some research. There's a Mass GIS, but there's no, if you look at their canopy maps, I don't know. I can't, I can see with my glasses, not great, but I can't tell what the hell I'm looking at. So I want to find out if there's a better way, and I think LiDAR might be it. So I had advised people, and also I think this is a little scrappy company, and they need support too. So I encourage people to contact Planet Geo. I'll put the name in the chat. They're
Awesome.
in Colorado.
Thank you, Susan. Sarah?
Hi, yes, following up on the Adopt a Tree. I remember Bill Masterson. I don't know if he was from Eastie. I don't know if he was affiliated with Eastie Farms or NOAA, but I think they, at least for a while, had a template that was working for them. So yeah, that's fractional info. He used to come to this group, but now that I think about it, haven't seen him in a while.
Bill
He was here
runs,
last month.
yeah. Bill runs Tree Eastie. Bill is Tree Eastie.
Oh, he is?
essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
I think he's on vacation this week. But he comes on and off to these
Yes.
meetings.
He's always here.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah. Susan, I mean, Erica?
Yeah, kind of going back to some of the things Susan said, and David put in the chat, they did Boston's street tree inventory last year. That was Planet Geo, and there was a LiDAR assessment by the Spatial Analysis Lab at UVM. That's our tree canopy assessment 2014 to 2019. If you look at other things that the Spatial Analysis Lab from UVM is doing, they're doing a lot of tree inventories in cities, and their work is really highly accurate. So it's a great lab to look into. And I think sometimes like having the academic researchers involved too, like the data can go farther than just a purchased product from one company or another. I'm pretty aware in like my daily work of like a lot of companies with different products and they're charging and how much are they charging for the like different products across different cities. So maybe a little bit of a personal political statement, but I would love to see, you know, groups, connecting the dots, coming together a little bit more. And LiDAR is a great tool, but it's, again, everything with the trees is like a snapshot. So I think some of the comments David was saying about coming together and working together to bring our data sets into central locations, even across, and I'm speaking kind of as Mass Audubon's urban ecologist now, like across different cities that are comparable data is something that I'm really interested in. And what you said about private trees, I just wanted to mention that that RFP that the city of Boston put out for private tree land, private tree canopy on private land. Mass Audubon also submitted a proposal, as did Jordan with the trustees. So I think we will be seeking to try to get some more data on private land and consider the urban forest holistically. We just won't find out how that project is going forward for a couple more weeks. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Erica. Appreciate that. All right. Well, what a great discussion that came from that. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you.
I encourage you. I don't know if you did already, put your email in the chat so you can stay connected to people who are willing to help you. And that's what this group is really good for. Really good for that.
Yeah.
I know quite a few people who can attest to that. All right. Moving along in the agenda, I believe we are at Speak for the Trees updates. David, you have that on your screen there? I believe we are, right? Yes. All right. So now we're going to hear from Josh Reed, who you briefly just heard from. He's our education coordinator who has an update about. I'll let you do it. I'll let you talk about it, Josh.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you for letting me speak about this. So yeah, I touched on it a little bit earlier, just a few minutes ago, a little bit. But right now we're currently planning for our summer Teen Urban Tree Corps program, which is our youth job program. And over the summer, we hire them, or we're looking to hire 20 to 25 youth this summer. And we hire Boston teens age 14 to 18. They join us for 6 weeks in the summer, and they work 25 hours a week. So 5 hours a day, Monday to Friday. And there's really two goals to that program. We provide education in urban forestry, and we do that through lessons led by our own staff. We do trips to green spaces all over across Boston. And we have guest speakers come in, career professionals in the field. And then the second goal in that is the tree care that I talked about just earlier, the 3 days a week of watering, and the mulching that we hope to expand this summer. So part of that preparation is right now we're hiring for people to be a part of that program. So I wanted to talk to you all about that and let you know about the positions that we're looking for. So we are looking for the teams, first and foremost. Like I said, we are planning to hire 20 to 25 this summer. And again, they're 18 or 14 to 18. And so, so that the teams obviously, and then we also have the team leaders. So last year we hired 3 team leaders to be a part of the program. And this year we are looking for 4 to 5 young adults age 19 to 25 to be in those roles. And those team leaders are really important in making sure that the program goes smoothly. So they joined the program 2 weeks prior to the teen start, partly for their own onboarding and training, but also to assist us in the curriculum development, the scheduling for the summer, and designing their own lessons to teach to the youth, and just other general planning for the before the youth come in. And then they're also out in the field every day with the youth. So they are the ones who are leading small groups of youth to go out on the watering and other tree care work. And then, as I said, they're leading their own lessons, taking them, leading them through the field trips and the other activities that we're working for. So if any of you know of anyone who might be interested in that program, or if you're interested at all in helping us get the word out about these opportunities, that would be greatly appreciated. So I'll post each of those. We have links on our website to both there'll be job descriptions in those posts, and steps to apply. So youth would apply through our website, and then for the team leaders, that would just be sending the resume and cover letter to me. But all of that information is on the site, and I will post those in the chat. And I think that's about it. I don't know if there's anything else to add to that, David, but
I just quickly updated the website, Josh, so it includes a link to both job descriptions. We're more immediately looking for team leaders. So we're going to job fairs in the coming weeks. So if you know of young adults 19 to 25 who have their summer free, we'd be really happy to start interviewing them.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. Anyone have any questions about the Teen Urban Tree Corps? All right, not seeing any. All right, well, I should have went first because that was a great description of your program, Josh. Mine's is a little shorter, but I am super excited to announce to this group that, well, I'm responsible for tree giveaways here at Speak for the Trees. And I'm excited to announce that we are going to be giving away 250 trees this year. We're going to touch on for homeowners across 5 different communities all around Boston. Our tree giveaway program will start in April with the Savor the Square event in Nubian Square. It'll be at the Roxbury Public Library. And that'll be like our first tree giveaway event. Then we will be at the Boston Nature Center in June, the Food Project Farm in Roxbury/Dorchester in May. Well, actually, I should have went May, June. Apologies. Then we're so we have 3 in the spring and 2 in the fall. And I'm just really excited that we're going to be able to help increase the tree canopy around the city. And I look forward to, sharing our successes and our events as they are put together, as they grow. Erica?
Oh, it's just a thumbs up because great job.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So I'm really super excited about that and excited to share that with all of you. David, you want to say anything about that? All right.
No.
Nice. Cool. All right, if we don't have any more questions, could you go back to the agenda for a minute, David? I think it might be at the end, right? Awesome. All right, well, I think we had a really great Buff meeting this week, this month. And I look forward to coming back next month for our meeting. But please visit our. Okay, so you just put a note in the chat, Susan. Okay, I just don't want to cut you all off. Yeah, please visit the Boston Urban Forest Friends survey. It's a really quick survey. It'll take you less than 2 minutes to fill out. Your feedback is super important, and it helps drive what we do. It keeps us coming back. And we realize that this work is super important, and we want to make sure that we continue to do it. But we need your support. So again, my name is Jarrell, and on behalf of Speak for the Trees, I want to thank you all for being here. And we'll see you at our next meeting, which is March 10th. And you'll get all my emails. So thank you all very much, and have a good weekend.
Thanks, Jarrell.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Carol and
Bye.
David.
Thank you, Susan.